I don't know where I'd be right now if I hadn't discovered you. I have to say, you're incredibly real. I guarantee that there is not a person who has seen your videos on YouTube, who has come to your website, who becomes a member, that they don't find at least two hands full of workouts that work for them. On the days I see you've done a video and you are huffing and puffing because maybe it was one day, like you've said,
Always huffing and puffing.
I wake up and I'm tired most days. I have these degrees of tired. And I'm sure everyone who's watching this will say, I've been there, I've been there.
Hey guys, welcome back to our next interview. We're interviewing Kaz. She so graciously offered to come on here with us today and share her story with Cocolime Fitness workouts, how it's helping her to feel better and help her to stay active, even though she's dealing with so much physical pain and fatigue. Kaz, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
It's my absolute pleasure, and you know that.
We've been waiting for this interview for a while. I know we've been talking about it for several months, so I'm happy that it's finally here.
Me too.
So, Kaz, I'd like to just start off having you tell people a little bit about, your health history, what you've been through these recent years, if you feel comfortable.
Sure. In terms of, I deal with fibromyalgia. Was diagnosed in November of 2020, which was, now that I look back on it, I can see the trajectory, that the little signs and signals that something was going on with my body. Um, Most of my life and everything I've done professionally, where my body is concerned, for my career, I bounced back really, really easily. And I mean bounced back after I tell you what I did. But I just started, after exercise, after stress, after exertion or travel, I was flat on my back for 2 or 3 days with this exhaustion that I had no idea what the issue was. So, me being me, I started to do the research. And with fibromyalgia, as most people here who are members of your fantastic site, who deal with fibromyalgia, there's a process of elimination. You don't just get this, you have this, this, and this fibro. No, you have to go through all the blood tests, and some people I know, it took 5 years to get diagnosed.
Yes.
Um, after I did the research and went to my GP and then was sent to a rheumatologist. I was convinced that I had it. But full systemic body pain, neck to knees usually, the digestion issues, the brain fog. And, I'm over 50, I'm over 55, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, is this early onset dementia?
Oh, goodness. This is,
Right? Well, and I
oh,
actually spoke to a friend, a male, which is very, it's only 25% of fibromyalgia sufferers are male. So, and he's a few years older than I am. And he said, no, honey, it's fibromyalgia. And he's been dealing with it for many, many years.
uh,
And I've gone through the gamut, the exhaustion, as I was mentioning, the brain fog, the digestive issues. Had to go to a gastro for it. The insomnia. The insomnia has been horrific
that's the worst, I think. When you can't recover, it's just, oh, awful.
because your body repairs itself during sleep, and your
Exactly.
brain is repaired and learns and assimilates the information that you've garnered during the day in your sleep.
Mm.
And so we are at an incredible disadvantage. But prior to that, I'd had zero. um, health issues,
Wow.
neither short term, chronic, or acute. So it is, I people like you that I've met who have started with their condition journey in their 20s.
Mhm.
I mean, my hat is off to them because if I had been dealing with this for the last 20, 30 plus years, I, and the science and the medical community was not behind this,
No.
right? I mean, ladies, it's all dead.
Oh,
No, it
it's
is
the worst. Oh, it's the worst. You feel like a hypochondriac almost. That's how you're made to feel,
not. And
which
if
is
you get
awful.
the wrong doctor,
Yeah.
they will reinforce that we want you to take an antipsychotic, an antidepressive, and they're still prescribing things like Lyrica,
Mhm.
antidepressants, and things like that, which I have a friend who is actually on some of those meds, and she's on arthritis meds, and it really helps her. That's not a part of my journey. I've gone in a slightly different direction because I cannot take any pain medication because it has a psychotic effect on me.
Incredible. Wow.
No baclofen, no prednisone, no high dose ibuprofen, no what I mean, I have a laundry list of things I can't take because I have such a horrible reaction to them. So I turned to more traditional Chinese medicine, body work, massage,
Mhm.
acupuncture, and then occasionally I'll have a very low dose of ibuprofen or a very low dose of muscle relaxant.
Incredible.
But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of envious of those who can find relief from pharmaceuticals on the short term and maybe on the long term if people have been on them for an extended period of time. I wish that I could get that kind of relief.
That's just awful. Yeah, so for it to come upon you so quickly, with no warning, from going, as a person who is extremely active to now a person who's not as active in constant pain with no relief, that must have been so discouraging for you. So, at what point did you say, okay, I need to find some sort of exercise that will help relieve these symptoms? Was it right away or was it something
Oh,
gradual? Yeah,
immediately, because regardless of the pain or the brain fog or the yada, 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 I didn't want to get inactive.
right.
And as a woman moving forward in life, one of the most important things for us is to remain active, not just for how we look, but bone density,
Definitely.
mood.
Yes.
Exercise releases oxytocin. I mean, I have osteopenia, and thank goodness it has not advanced to osteoporosis.
hmm
But you recently said about having osteoarthritis. Same thing. But I had, and trust me, this is a journey that has not ended in a destination. This
Yeah.
is an ongoing journey because, as I was mentioning to you earlier, what I'm even having to modify things today. I do what I can do.
Yes.
5 minutes one time a day or three times a day or 10 minutes twice a day. If it's only stretching today, you do what you can do.
Do what you can and what makes your body feel good. So, in speaking to that, when you finally found Cocolime Fitness, I always love to ask people this question because the workouts are a little bit more challenging than what people are used to when they find, fibromyalgia workouts. And there's a reason for that, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But when you found that, or the method that I teach, what did you think? Did you think like, oh, I can't do this? It's too hard for my condition? Did you think this is too easy? I'm not going to see any changes? What were your thoughts on
Never. Not for a nanosecond, because me being again the researcher that I am, I pored over your website. I looked at every video. Well, I was introduced to you via YouTube.
Yes,
I
yeah.
had, I was clickety clack, and you came up on YouTube. And then I started, before I joined your site, I did some of your workouts
Mm-hmm.
there. And then I did more, and then I did more, and then I went to your website and I was like, I have to have this. I have to have this in my life on a more in-depth basis. And I understand from watching all of your, the tools that you use to get the word out there of, this is who I am, this is how I teach, this is my journey, this is who this is for. I had to dive more deeply into your philosophies. And some things have worked perfectly, and a few things I have to modify. And I
Mm-hmm.
have to remember that regardless of if I can do it, is it a good thing that I am doing it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Modify, modify, modify. Don't, not for me. I can't speak for anyone else. For me, okay, today you're going to do her workout, but you're not going to do lunges as deeply. You're not going to be able to do, any curl up because of your neck. And my neck is what drives usually any flare up, my neck.
Me too, definitely.
So
Yeah.
I have degenerative disc disease in my neck, and my vertebrae in my neck, it's supposed to be in a curve. Mine straightened out and then it started curving in the opposite direction. I'm
Oh my
surprised I
goodness.
don't look around like, like that. But
Yeah.
that's from diligent work, right?
Yeah. Oh, incredible. So I just want to talk a little bit about your exercise history so people understand how amazing you are, right? And how you're still enjoying doing workouts like these on Cocolime Fitness TV despite that exercise history. So do you want to share with people what you've done in the past? What kind
Yeah,
of things you did?
sure. Well, exercise for me is my lifeblood. And I started out as a dancer at a very, very young age, 13 well, I started with ballet as a child, and I really wasn't into it until I got to about 13, and I really loved musical theater.
Oh, yes.
And I'm really fortunate. I ended up having a very prolific musical theater life, and dancing, had a few injuries, but
Mhm.
the musical theater, the dance led me to other kind of career paths, and to see what my body could do. I I I ended up I was working for SeaWorld as a tour guide at the end of my university, and I was scouted by the SeaWorld water ski team.
Mm-hmm.
You're small, you're a dancer, do you water ski? Yes, I do water ski. I will admit this to the world now that I had water skied once before.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
they once before they
So
recruited me
brave. Oh
to
my goodness.
audition. Well, I think facing fear is one of the most important things that we can do in life. I
Yes, I
really do.
agree.
So I went down to Orlando and auditioned. Basically, they bring you in for a month to try you out. Luckily for me, and I wasn't about to out myself that yes, I've water skied once, and I did get up on the skis first time when I water skied, and I was fine. So they ended up hiring me for a year, and I got injured twice, and I figured a year was enough for me. And I was still dancing. I danced for shows for Warner Brothers and a bunch of different companies and off Broadway, and so I was all around the country working, and I ended up back in Orlando, and I ended up doing musical theater. So the people from Universal Studios were coming looking for new talent. and they said to me, "You are perfect for this role in this stunt show." Um, and I got it. And I started falling off of buildings and using whips and
Oh
firearms.
my goodness. May I ask for what show were you in?
It was the Wild Wild West show.
You're kidding.
Yep.
What year was it?
Um, 91 to 94 is when I was there.
Okay.
And
I was there in 97. That's why I asked.
oh my
I
gosh.
worked at Disney World in 97, from 97 to 98.
And I was in Disney 90, 91.
Okay. Oh, I
Um,
just missed you.
we just missed each other. Um,
Yeah.
but they found out that I was a singer too, and they auditioned me for the Beetlejuice show, and I played the Bride of Frankenstein.
You're
So that
kidding.
was
Oh
fun.
my goodness.
Yeah, it was really good times for them. And that rolled over into doing television, stunt work for television, stunt work for film. Um, so yeah, I did that. So they did the water skiing. Oh, and I had before Universal Studios, I was in New Orleans for 4 years because I had a short stint with Ringling Brothers Circus as
Guys,
aerialist.
that's
I
the thing.
learned how to do the Spanish web, which is the one where you hang by your ankle or your wrist, and women did by their neck. I didn't. So I had a short stint with them. And then in this show at the Riverwalk in New Orleans, they put a little 15-minute circus show in the live performances for me that I did. So yeah, so I just kept doing stunt work and musical theater work and all of that. My last stunt job, I was 50
Incredible.
for yeah, for a show on ABC or something. But then I realized, and a lot of the people that were doing the show with me were my age or a little bit older, but I realized that it was, and I was in bodybuilder shape then. I started P90X.
Yes.
And
Well.
know it well. I did everything there, but P90X in 90 days, I was basically in bodybuilder condition.
Oh, yeah.
Caveat to that, it is such a tough training and it really is hard on your body. That was probably the crowning blow to soon after.
Hmm. Interesting.
Super
Yeah.
tough. So yeah, I did P90X. I was in ridiculously buff shape and did my last stunt job, and then just decided that it was time to retire from dance and stunt work and all of that, um, because it started getting harder to train for it. It started getting harder to recover from
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the midst of this, having a child when I was almost 40,
Mm-hmm.
so that was an interesting journey, being called a, what was I called? A geriatric mother.
Oh, goodness. Come on. That's awful. I know plenty of women who have babies in their early 40s, so I wonder what they're called. So, but at what point did you think maybe possibly all of that intense physical activity contributed a little bit to your fibromyalgia? Because I know we were talking about this before the interview. So, what do you
I
think
don't think it contributed it up to it. I think it caused it.
it caused it?
So I did the research that said, as the science has come along, as all of the uh, peer-reviewed double-blind studies that are being done have indicated, bodies, it is a condition of the central nervous system.
Yes.
And the more we assault the central nervous system, whether it's by my friend who had quite a few motorcycle accidents and lived to tell the tale, but he has fibromyalgia, that I fell off of buildings, I spun around in the air, I skied on, my body took a lot of assault.
Right.
And I think that unfortunately it said enough is enough.
Yeah. I'm happy that you mentioned that to me because I think there's a lot of sufferers out there with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, what have you. issues with the central nervous system, that they still feel this pressure. I don't know if it's more from the industry or just a self pressure that they have to continue exercising the way everyone has told them to. Otherwise, they won't lose weight, they won't get in shape, they won't feel better. There's just a really strong pressure in the industry to do that. So I'm happy that you mentioned that intense exercise or anything that's stressful to the body contributed to your issues, because more people need to hear this. We need to hear it. We need to drill it into our brains that a change
Well,
of thought is necessary, right?
absolutely. I think if I could say one thing about this journey that we're on, and I can't stress this enough, in moving your body to keep you healthy as you move on in life, you have your own personal prescription for exercise, for movement. And whether it's gardening, walking your dog, uh, lifting boxes, getting groceries, that's all considered movement. But we discount that if it's not formal.
Yes.
However, some formal exercise is important because the body brain connection needs to understand the repeat of a movement and say, oh, I get this. This feels good. This helps my shoulder. This is helping my back. This is helping some pain. Until, like you say in nearly every video, if this is causing you pain, stop. If you're not feeling as good as or better than when you started, stop, come back later.
Mhm.
You can write your own prescription to your exercise.
Oh, you just gave me chills, and I'm wearing a sweater.
In Costa Rica, nonetheless.
I know it's cold this morning, but I love how you said that. Yeah, everybody needs to listen to their own body. I think one of the issues is that we're trying to do what other people have told us to do. We're trying to do what we used to do, and we're not adapting to what our body currently needs at this moment. And that may change from day to day. So it's a continual process. And I'm so happy that you're able to do the Cocolime Fitness workouts and approach them in that way. That's the goal that I hope everybody who does these workouts gets to. You know, that every day they can come in and just do what feels good for them.
And what you, to interrupt and add this, what you bring to them is I'm not telling you this is the one and only way to do this.
Mhm.
Because anybody that tells you anything that this is the only way to meditate, this is the only way to exercise, it's got to look like this, I will run screaming from the room.
Yeah.
You are always what you can do, do. If it's
Mhm.
not working, find something else. And I guarantee that there is not a person who has seen your videos on YouTube, who has come to your website, who becomes a member, that they don't find at least two hands full of workouts that work for them. I would be shocked beyond shock if someone went, yeah, nah, doesn't work for me. None of it works for me. Like, well, you didn't look deeply enough, because I guarantee you something will work for you.
Oh, you're such a nice example. I really appreciate having people like you that are on my site that appreciate those things. Thank you so much. So, okay, let me just talk a little bit with you about the workouts on Cocolime Fitness. I know that you're a member of the subscription service right now. And for those of you guys who don't know what that is, that's just basically a library of all of my workouts that you can access. And then you can get monthly programs along with that. And that's just nice if you are more of a free form person and you don't need, a very detailed guide. So you've been a member there for a few months, right? Like 5 or 6 months, about
Maybe a little longer than that.
maybe a little longer than that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what tips would you give for new people coming in who are a little unsure about it, if it's going to work for them, how to use it? What would you say to them?
Give it a chance. Um, if, like me, I mean, it's not that I'm not considering MIT fit. Um, I know you're restructuring that, and that's so exciting.
Yes, I'm very excited about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my only concern would be, will that fit me as well, if not better than CLFTV? And I'm the kind of person I want, today I feel like this. So
Hmm.
I want to target this. And you have just limitless options, from the timed 5 to 10 minutes, 12 to 15, da, 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 or the entire 28-day program,
Yeah.
or self-care, or fibro. You have all the opportunities for people. They have to do some work, some research, but try it, give it a chance, and not just, okay, I did one workout, this doesn't work for me.
Yes.
You give it, it takes 21 days at least to make or break a habit, and
Hmm.
to tell your body, show your body, or listen to your body, if we're in that mind space, this is what my body needs. And our bodies are really adept at telling us what works and what doesn't.
Yes.
They are screaming at us sometimes, and we are not listening. Um, but people need to give it a minimum of 21 days. Try, sign up, get in there, make it a habit. Start with a couple of days a week, go to 3 days a week, and I guarantee you, you're going to, we're going to miss you if we don't see you on a real.
She's so kind. You're just making me feel so good today.
It's the truth.
Come back anytime you want.
And I try to be as transparent as possible, sometimes way too transparent and honest, and that's gotten me in trouble in the past, but I'm not going to blow the proverbial smoke, up your skirt. I'm going to be honest. And, I've sent you a couple of suggestions, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Awesome.
what I would like to see, or, here's an idea, or whatever. And you are very open to all sorts of ways you can improve and address. I mean, are you going to make everybody happy all the time? No, we can't do that.
Fortunately,
I think
no.
it's that kind of 80-20 principle,
Hmm.
and sometimes people get 90-10. I don't know your stats, and it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but it, one really has to go give it a real chance. And your focus, there's really no one out there doing what you're doing. And trust me, I've done the research.
Yes.
So focused on this chronic pain,
Mm.
CFS, fibro, lupus, you name it. I mean, people with other conditions that are like MS, very severe. I know people that have MS, and they've got their cane right there, or they're sitting in their chair, or they're sitting on the floor, and they're doing things. I'm sure you've got people in your community.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I actually, when I was personal training in person, I trained a few MS clients, and I mean, it's amazing what they can do. They just need, exercises that are doable. And that's the problem, again, that I found, and you probably found this since you mentioned there's nobody doing this, is that there's not really a middle ground of exercise. There's nothing that's like moderate, completely no impact, not stressful on the body for all kinds of people, right?
You're
Right.
either getting the high intensity, high weights, get
Yeah.
ripped, or you're getting the stuff that my mom did, in her 80s. Right?
Yes, exactly.
There's no, and I mean, that's great. I mean, so I've turned to some of those when I felt really like garbage
Mm-hmm.
before I found you, and I'm like, I don't know where to go. I'm gonna have to go
Oh.
to the senior center and work out in a chair, you know.
It's so depressing, isn't it?
And I'm sure everyone who's watching this will say, I've been there, I've been there. But you have, from someone who may have not been working out for a while, to those who have, like me, who desperately need someone who's supporting and nurturing us. And that's the other thing. There's because you deal with it yourself. You're not someone who's 100% healthy and doesn't have any really acute or chronic conditions. That
Mhm.
is just, I went to school for this, I had training for this, I've trained people, but I personally am so fortunate I don't deal with this at all. Boots on the ground. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. That's why I trust you and believe in you so much, is because on the days I see you've done a video and you are huffing and puffing because maybe it was one day, like you've said,
Always huffing and puffing.
I wake up and I'm tired most days. I have these degrees of tired.
Yes.
I'm on my back tired and I'm, you know what? I can function
Yeah.
fine tired. We see that you've got your hands on your hips, you're breathing, and you're like,
Yeah.
I can be with that,
Yeah.
and the support and the nurturing that you give your community is what we need. And that's why I'm such a champion of getting you out there,
Thank you.
or to tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, because there are just fibromyalgia. There are, how many millions? 5 million people
Millions and growing every day.
every day. And then let's add on CFS, let's add on all these other chronic pain conditions. And you've
Yeah.
got tens of millions of people worldwide who, whether they know it or they don't, need something like this, because having good health longevity is important. I just lost my mom in January, and she
So
had a
sorry.
bunch of conditions, and unfortunately COVID finally took her out. But she tried her best. Until the last couple of years, especially after my dad passed, then there was a whole other, but she tried her best. This woman at age like 78 was doing 100 push-ups every day or
Oh,
every
you're
other day.
kidding. That's where you get it from.
That's me.
That's
Yeah,
really,
I mean, I can't do push-ups anymore because of the whole shoulder neck thing, but
yeah.
yeah, we can, in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, we can have health. But if we don't have a community to move forward with, to
Yeah.
help us, even if we're 90 and doing 5 minutes a day, that's so
Mhm.
important.
Yes.
Um, if we don't have that kind of community, we're kind of putting together this mishmash of, we have no guidance, we have nowhere to go, we have no support, we
Mhm.
have nobody to bounce things. I love how people in your community bounce things off of each other. And then here comes Susanna, they're saying, I know how you feel, or did you think of this?
Yeah. No, the community has been great. And again, for those of you who don't know, that's a new feature we've added to the website this year because we realized, we need each other. It's not just the workouts, it's the support system of others who are like-minded and going through the same struggles. We need each other. So if you haven't taken advantage of that community, please pop on there and tell us about yourself and what you're going through. Just a
You'll
side
be
note on
very
that.
glad you did. You'll be glad you did.
Oh, so you've already been such a cheerleader for me and Cocolime Fitness. I hate to ask you this question, but I think it's good for everybody to know. You've been doing the workouts consistently for how long? Like you said,
I think it's coming up on a year.
a year already. So what kind of results have you gotten? Whether it's emotional, physical? Woo, look at those guns.
Again,
Look at those guns. Woo.
woo, um,
And how much do you work out? I think that'll encourage people too.
well, I'm too much sometimes. Let me say this. I've learned,
Mhm.
especially in the last year, I do some sort of movement every single day.
Mhm.
I think that's important, but I'm not saying you have to do, like, sometimes I'm only stretching
Mhm.
to keep to release the synovial fluids and to keep my joints and my ligaments, active and activated. but yeah, I will say I do something every day, but it's a range.
Yeah. So there's not like a set rule. You know how we're told 30 minutes every day, every single day. But with fibromyalgia and CFS and all of these conditions, that's just not possible. But what
Cut
you're,
yourself a slack.
yeah,
Please give yourself a break.
thank you for saying that. Yeah. So what you're saying is that it doesn't matter how much you do, it's more about consistency, correct?
That you're doing something.
Yes.
100%. a
Yeah.
100%. Please do something, even if it's in your bed.
Please, 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 please. That's something I really want everybody to hear. Don't forget that point. Consistency really is the key, isn't it?
Well, not only do our muscles atrophy, but our organs will start to atrophy too. The heart is a muscle. The
Yeah.
heart can atrophy. The lungs can atrophy. You'll be able to get less oxygen into your lungs. The blood will be pumped less effectively through your heart. And I know people are out there going, I can't, I'm in so much pain. I feel like, mm.
Yeah.
Oh, but you can just start with a couple of minutes.
Just like 1 minute. 1 minute. That's all you need to do and just move your body. Thank you for saying that. And so you're getting stronger, you're feeling a little more energized, a little less.
Yes, yes. Now that I keep learning, I mean, I've even had to make drastic decisions. I'm a world traveler. I love to travel. I love language. I'm a writer. I've been writing a long time, and we've had to redefine what travel means for us now because of, um, I don't want to say because of my condition. It's so I can live in optimum health,
Yeah.
not because of my condition. So I'm looking at those boundaries. It's live your best life, do what helps you to live an optimal, um, healthy life, whatever that looks like. Find your prescription. Let Suzanne help you write it.
Yes, please. Please. Yes. Awesome. That's wonderful to hear. Yeah, I really appreciate you coming on and telling us all of that. I know it's going to encourage a lot of people who are a little nervous to get started. They think it's this overwhelming task, especially when you see some of the sample workouts, right? Some of them are a little more challenging. So I know a lot of people are nervous, but hearing your story will motivate many, I know. I'm positive of
I
that.
hope so. You don't have to do the 40-minute, 30-minute, 20-minute workouts. You don't have to lift the 8-pound weights. I don't,
Can
you know.
I ask you a question in speaking to that? Could you tell people on an average day what you do and how much you do, just so they're aware?
Oh, it depends on the day.
Say a good day. You're having a good day. How much of like Cocolime Fitness workouts do you do on a really good day?
I'll do at least 30 minutes. And I
Okay.
may do an entire 30 minutes or I may break it up because also I'm involved in a bunch of other writing projects.
Yeah.
I'm very involved in, for any of the ladies out there 50 and over, and we also work intergenerationally. I write for the Pro Age Woman magazine, which I think they would love you, Suzanne. They would love you, Suzanne. Um, but I'm writing, I'll do 10 minutes. I'm doing, I'll do 10 more minutes. I'm on the phone, or if I wake up and I had a really good night's sleep,
Yeah.
I'll do 30 minutes. But I won't do 30 minutes the next day.
Ah, yes. So that's the point, right? Every day is different. Do what you can do. And even on a good day, it's 30 minutes, guys. It's not an hour. It's not 2 hours. It's 30 minutes. So, and broken up. That's the other thing. So, oh, thank you for sharing that. I don't talk too much about my schedule just because it changes all the time, depending on how I'm feeling. But I would agree with you on my really good days, it's maximum about 30 minutes. I think I rarely do 45 minutes. So for those of you overwhelmed, you know that you don't need to do so much. Yeah.
No, not at all.
No.
not at all. As a matter of fact, it'll probably be more detrimental than it will help you.
So we talked a little bit about this before we started recording this video, but it's more about, that you can live a normal life even with these conditions if you change your mindset, right? And if you're willing to adapt and listen to your body every day, then you'll have success at this. But if you continue going forward, doing the same things you've been doing for years and years before you got sick, you're going to have the same results, right? So it's a matter of shifting how we do things, and you'll see big changes in your life. I believe that. I think you believe that, Kaz. And
Yes.
we
Just
can,
turn out the noise. Turn
yeah,
out the noise that's telling you something different. Tune in.
tune in, and you can have a semi-decent life. that's
Really,
that's the
really
goal,
decent life. No, really, yeah.
really good. Yeah,
Mhm.
you just have to get out of this like all or nothing mentality, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I know because I was in it as well. And I think many people that use these workouts felt the same before they started as well. It's just that if I don't do 150%, it's not worth my time. And really for me, I felt worse when I was pushing myself. Even before I got sick, I had more weight on me because I
Hmm.
was inflamed. I don't
Hmm.
know. My body didn't react well to high intensity workout even before I got sick. So yeah, everyone's different.
Yep.
Gotta listen. Thank you so much. You were so kind. You spent a long time with me today and with everybody here. You're amazing. I hope you can come back on in another year and tell us your progress.
Oh, please, if I'm invited, I will.
Anytime.
There's a lot of love in this community. You love yourself. You love what you do. You love putting this out into the world. So, thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. I'm just so happy to have people like you doing these with me and being part of the community. I mean it.
You've
It's
got a great community. You've got a great community, and I know men are invited to do the workouts, and I will say this, they can definitely benefit, but not but and the support of women is really important. It really is. But I would love to see more men
I would
find this.
too.
Find
Yeah.
this because men suffer from these things too. And you are inclusive. You've mentioned this on several occasions that I'm trying to show men that, they are completely welcome. And I would love to see that too.
Oh, I would love that. We need to get the word out, guys, to all of our boyfriends, right? I know there's so many that there's kind of a shame spiral that comes along with getting sick, especially when it's something that no one sees and you look perfectly healthy and you're supposed to be this, tough person, right? So there is a shame spiral. So we need to get it out there that it's okay to feel this way. It's not our fault. It's not in our heads. We're not crazy, and that there is something out there for all of us to make us feel better, even if it doesn't fit the traditional mold. So,
The heck with that.
yeah, thank you so much. All right. Well, I hope you have a great day. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And hopefully, we'll be posting another interview soon for you guys. All right. Bye.
You.